So glad that you were able to meet with us today. Um,
Yes.
Please introduce yourself, and I'll get your name up on the screen. Just introduce yourself and tell us
Yes.
who you are. But before you do,
Absolutely.
you have your coffee, you got your water, you got your tea. What do you have over there?
I have jasmine tea.
Mm,
Yes.
okay, I've
With
got
raw honey.
with raw honey. Okay,
Yes.
that's important because we can't do
Hmm.
the fake stuff. That's the fake honey if it's not raw.
Correct.
What I need. So I've got my
Yes.
water. I think we are ready to go.
Yes.
So please do introduce yourself. Tell us who you are and what you
Yeah.
love to do.
My name is Lashay Canady, and I am a certified clinician of whole food nutrition. And I have been in business for, I think, 11 years now. And the clinical nutrition is the most important modality that I practice
Mm,
because all any imbalance in the body chemistry comes from malnutrition or the wrong type of nutrition. So undernutrition or overnutrition or malnutrition. And so I love the work that I do. And when a whole I treat the whole body, I'm sorry, I um interact with the whole body that walks into the door, not just maybe the reproductive system or the migraine headache
mm,
or the back pain or kidney pain. I work with the whole body.
mhm, mhm.
So I'm very glad to be here today.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. And so we talked about because I think we met last year, right? Sometime last year.
Correct.
And so we've had lots of discussions
Correct.
about nutrition and health and all of that. I remember when you were at where ancestors gather, you had some dark chocolate and you were talking to people a little bit about the benefits of dark chocolate, which are plentiful. But that was one of our first encounters. So given we're in a totally different state of living right now, so given everything that's happening, I mean, we could talk about the pandemic, we could talk about the Black Lives Matter. All of these things
Right.
are in the atmosphere right now. We're
Correct.
pushing for change. And so, what in the heck do you do when you get up? How do you make it through? What are you doing to make it in the morning?
Mm. I think the first thing that I do that is just this glorious weather that we have, and I drink a couple of glasses of water. I prepare my tea. I take my cup of tea out to the backyard. I take my shoes off and I walk in the soil of the garden to
Mm,
just kind of get grounded. There's something about taking your shoes off and feeling the grass, feeling the pebbles, feeling the compost, feeling the soil of the nutrition that's coming from the earth,
mm,
particularly my vegetable garden. And so there I of course have to walk through grass and earth to get to the garden. And it's just something about how your skin feels, how your heart pulls, and how your spirit takes that nourishment from the earth. And
oh,
I just tell everybody in the house, I'm walking the yard. I'm walking the
mm,
yard and just walking around and before the sidewalk gets hot, while right after the morning dew on the grass,
yes.
looking at flowers or xeriscape or cactuses or soil. So I just get grounded that way
Mm,
in the morning and then continue to
yes.
enjoy my cup of tea.
Oh my
So it
gosh.
makes a difference.
That sounds so wonderful. And I'm a person who I didn't used to like taking my shoes off in the grass, but in my own yard, I appreciate it.
Mm.
And it is very grounding. So, yes, thank you for that. Absolutely. It's my morning. It's a good way to start the morning. So one
Yes.
of the things I wanted to talk to you about is, what you are an expert in, which is nutrition. And we talked about, what do you do for your body right now to stay well? What what is it? There's a lot of information out there. What do you do for yourself and for your family or for your clients? Um, what do you do to stay well and keep the Rona at bay and other things that are invaders of us?
I've had, oh gosh, I think in this time of a pandemic, particularly the COVID-19 pandemic,
Mhm.
I have reiterated with my clients to make sure they have an acidic digestive environment.
Mm,
Th-
okay.
in general,
Yeah.
and particularly now with the pandemic.
Mhm.
Because if your digestion is alkaline and your body is inviting an alkaline microorganism, be it a parasite, a bacteria, a fungus, a virus, it is like giving that virus a blanket to just move in and camp out. If you have an acidic environment, it is dead on arrival because alkaline cannot survive in acid.
Mm,
And so I encourage my clients to have an apple cider vinegar drink every morning. That's the cheapest way. Organic apple cider vinegar. Take a glass of water, 2 teaspoons of apple cider vinegar, 2 teaspoons of wildflower honey.
mm,
Maybe not raw honey, maybe the regular honey so that it will dissolve better for you. And stir that, drink that every morning. Tastes like about apple cider, and that will help you to have that will help you to have an acidic environment the way it's supposed to be, and that a virus will not survive, a microorganism will not survive. And that is every morning, not just during the pandemic, every morning for the rest of your life. I think our ancestors used to do that.
yes.
And so that's the most important thing at this time.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. There's things that we can gain from
And the
what
way
our
we have a,
ancestors used to do.
oh,
That
sorry.
is, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was going to also share that it's important to, you can't do the apple cider vinegar drink and then go off and have junk food. You have to be conscientious of what food you're feeding your endocrine system, because the endocrine system is what feeds the bloodstream, and that bloodstream goes to the rest of the organs. So it's very important to look at what your diet or slash food plan is. I try not to use the word diet. And making sure that you're not causing an imbalance in your body chemistry. And that absolutely comes from what you put in your mouth.
Mm, okay. Now I have a comment here. Uh, let's see, I'll just put this up.
Mm.
So she loves coffee, but body doesn't necessarily want it to be the first thing. So you actually kind of just spoke to that. What would you say? Because people a lot of times do have coffee, and of course I put that on my post. Grab your coffee, grab your tea.
Right.
When I do coffee, it's not. I This is how much coffee I like. I like the Ethiopian style,
Mhm.
just a
Mhm.
little tiny cup of coffee, and I
Ah,
feel
nice.
good. That's good for me. So, do
Mhm.
you have any comments about coffee in the morning?
Like we enjoy the coffee and the tea in the morning. So I don't start out by saying don't do this. I say just add the apple cider vinegar
Mm,
when you wake up before the coffee, so that the you have the proper acids to digest breakfast, to digest your coffee, to digest your tea. And so I just encourage you to just start out with the apple cider vinegar drink, a couple of sips, maybe 5 sips, and then enjoy your coffee and finish off the apple cider vinegar. So don't take away your pleasures. You just may have a desire for less of the coffee with the
right.
apple cider vinegar drink. So good question.
Okay. Okay. Now, here's something interesting. that I noticed on your website. Your website has a plethora of great information. I just really
Mm,
enjoyed going through it. But here's one of the things that I noticed. You have a quote about
yeah.
tooth decay, and it's about tooth decay being an
Mm,
early sign of imbalanced health.
mhm,
So what does that mean? Because I don't
correct.
know. I don't generally hear people talk about mouth health. And you're not a dentist, I
Mhm,
know, but you know about this
correct.
area. So what does that mean? What can you
Correct.
tell us about that?
That's one of the questions that's on my health, the intake form of what is your oral health? What does that look like? Be it cavities or root canals? The teeth give us the first indication of imbalance.
Mm,
That is from your food. And that then gives an indication of what's to come next. If you have decay, cavities, oral health that is not very well, that will relate to organs later. So you will never meet a person. I have never met a person that has some type of autoimmune condition, disease, without having the compromised oral health. And so, for
really?
example, someone who has diabetes or high cholesterol or chronic fatigue syndrome or Crohn's disease, they will have oral health challenges because
Wow.
that came first before the autoimmune condition. And autoimmune conditions can there's a spectrum of I'm starting to feel this, I'm starting to feel this. I need to go get tested. Now I've been diagnosed with. And
Mm,
so there's a spectrum of the progression, and the oral health is the first indication because the calcium and phosphorus ratios are off, and it is reflected in your oral health first.
wow. So how early does that happen? I'm curious. What have you noticed in your practice as far as the earliest age-wise that that
Mm.
that
It could be
or
it,
maybe
it it
something like
it could be as early
infancy?
as your first cavity, right? Like what is a young person eating to say I am 8 years old, I have five cavities? What are they eating? Feeding that endocrine system, feeding that bloodstream that is feeding the rest of the organs. And so I always ask, give me a 7-day food plan. Let's just see what you're eating, you're consuming. And it always relates back to what the the body balance chemistry off because of what they're eating.
Wow.
100% of the time it's about what you're eating or
Wow.
you're not eating. So it could be, yes, we're eating so-called healthy, and I ask what are just give me a 7-day food plan so we can go through it together and make some tweaks, right? Like to say you don't have enough of the fatty acids, or you don't have water soluble vitamins or fat soluble vitamins. And so we just go through what they eat and work with that first and slowly make changes. So we have to begin where they are.
Wow. Okay. This is really interesting. My mind is still thinking about the tooth decay being an early sign.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know that it's related, but I did not realize that it was such a direct marker to
Correct.
disease. Like that's fascinating.
Your condition, yeah, your body, yep, the health of your body.
Wow. Wow. Okay. I'm sorry. I just had a little sneeze go by. So I noticed, and we're gonna wrap up just
Mhm.
at 15 minutes with you, but I I wanted to have you explain something that you said earlier. Um, so, as a certified clinically certified whole foods nutritionist, you work with patients on weight loss, but from what I read on your website, you kind of do it from a different perspective, which I thought was very interesting. And I think it's also the reason that you didn't use this word diet. So if you could just explain that a little bit, and then I want you to tell us, when do we call you? You know, we have people in the community that we can call for different things, but I don't know if a nutritionist is the first person that
Yeah.
we think about, and perhaps it should be because
Mm,
you have this breadth
mm,
of knowledge about our bodies before and actually
yeah.
during, but before we get to those critical points. So I've asked you a whole bunch. So
Correct.
talk about the diet and why you don't use the term
Yeah.
diet, how you work on weight loss, because that's a thing for people, especially right now.
Right. Mm. I I call myself a nutritional deficiency detective to find out what exactly are you, individual person, deficient in. And then that helps for the body to become to to be in balance. And that could be weight loss. So I look to see every human body needs five things regardless of that of who that is. Every human body needs fats, carbs, proteins, vitamins, and minerals. If you have the wrong types of fats, carbs, and proteins, that's where you will get your deficiencies because you're not getting the vitamins and minerals from those. And when one of those macronutrients is missing, that's when we see deficiencies. And so I look at that 7-day food plan to see what is missing, what do we need to add, and let's make some tweaks. And the weight loss will come, but we want to get the body in balance first. If the body chemistry is off, you can lose and gain and lose and gain because the body chemistry is still imbalanced.
Go off.
We
Wow.
have to do that first.
Okay, okay. And so, okay, that's how you address weight as well as diet with clients. So that's important
Correct.
because it's not just about, oh, let me go on this diet to lose weight.
Correct.
Sometimes we're depleting our bodies and we actually need to be giving it more of something. We need to be in
Hmm.
balance is what I'm
Correct.
getting
Hmm.
balance.
Correct. The body's not in homeostasis,
So
or you're going to get that
now
yo-yo. You're going to get the yo-yo in the weight.
okay, we have another question over here.
Yes.
Can you give some quick meal tips? We have Valetti said she sometimes feels like her meals are boring. I doubt that. I don't even believe it. But what can you do to spice up a meal? If you have if you have balanced meals,
Yeah.
what can you do to add to make it fun or interesting for the family?
Mm. I we have been told since the 70s and 80s to eliminate fat from our diet, right? Particularly saturated fat. And
Hmm.
so I think that's the biggest mental block we have. And so I tell people, "Oh, here's a salad you had while we're looking at the 7-day food plan. Add some avocado."
Mm,
Or I'm not saying eliminate fried chicken. I'm saying try not to use white flour for the breading. Maybe use a gluten-free type of flour. If you want to fry it, don't fry it in vegetable oils. Fry it in a saturated fat that doesn't smoke, that doesn't cause damage in your body. That is what the cells of your body are made of, the
mm,
saturated fat. And so find a healthy fat to start using. That is the biggest thing because 75% of illnesses and diseases come from deficiency in fatty acids. So it's basically fatty acid deficiency that is the majority of conditions that we have because the cells are not being fed the fatty acids that they need. So that would be the first. The second thing would be to make sure you try to stay within 100 grams of carbohydrates a day, not including your vegetables. So let's say you have your favorite cracker, your favorite cereal, your favorite bread, your favorite bagel, or I don't know, packaged food.
mhm,
Enjoy it. Just try to stay within 100 grams. When our when our body experiences more than 100 grams a day, that's when you trigger your insulin. And so if you're doing that daily, weekly, monthly, decade after decade,
Yeah.
pre-diabetic,
Mm-hmm.
issues with our endocrine system.
Mm-hmm.
And the third macronutrients is proteins, quality proteins, not just protein powders or a protein bar or something that has something that's prepared that has so many grams of protein. You need basically proteins that either rot or sprout because your body needs that to balance your body chemistry as well. And so if it's if it's oh gosh, meat, or if it's beans, a balance between the two. If you have an issue with losing the taste for meat, or if you feel as though a brick has hit your stomach, that means you don't have the right stomach acids. So I go back to the apple cider vinegar drink. When you don't have enough stomach acids, you cannot break down your proteins. And that's where you get your halitosis, which is the bad morning breath. You
Mm-hmm.
get the acid reflux, you get the burping, you get the gas, you get the bloating, you get the flocculence of clearing a four-story building because your fart smells so bad. Just to be honest here, right? Because your proteins are rotting, and so I
Right.
encourage that apple cider vinegar drink to have the right hydrochloric acids or stomach acids to break down your proteins to enjoy and get the vitamins and minerals from it.
Okay.
So those are the top three, and avoid bad oils and fats. Those are the ones the conversation of fats has steered towards all fats in the same bucket.
Yeah.
And so as I'm going through the 7-day food plan, we're looking at, oh, what fat was this used what fat was used to cook this? Maybe these are your favorite potato chips, but what oil was used? That's a bad oil, so it's causing more damage than the healthy chips themselves or healthy crackers themselves. And so we just kind of go through and read food labels in a different way.
Okay. Okay. So then that brings me to our closing question slash information. Um, how do we get in touch with you? I'm going to post your website. What's your website?
www.thebossgroup, GRP for group.net. And boss stands for beauty of a solo spirit. And my phone number is 303
I
eight
love
eight
that.
six 0673. And
Okay.
my email address is on the website as well.
Okay. Hit me with your phone number again because this is a little bit slow and I didn't get it. 303.
Absolutely. 886 0673.
Okay. So you have consultation forms, you got everything laid out if
Correct.
people get in touch with you, the cost, and obviously you're getting some great and very personalized help. So I am going to wish
Correct.
everyone who has listened and will listen to this conversation, I wish you wellness. Please reach out to Lashay Canady, the Boss Group, and get well, stay well, keep your family well, keep those blessings flowing. We are in this together and we have each other to rely on. Thank you so much for being here today. Thank you for
My
the
pleasure.
invitation. This was wonderful. And
Have a great close to your Thursday.
thank you. Now stay with me and I will just bid everyone goodbye. We'll see you next time.